Bismillah. In this session, now we will continue to talk about the topic of human capital management business process, which is part of the series of lecture in ERP courses at UEE, Industrial Engineering Department. Well, this is also part this AHGM topic is part of also the module that are taught in the practicum of for the ERP. So basically, this is related to the business process that are used in SAP to describe how to manage the human resource actually. So let's start. Usually, as usual, every module we start learning what's there in the organizational structure, what is the master data, and then also what will be the process that are covered in the module itself. Okay. As for the organizational structure, it will be like this. So there will be consist of three parts: enterprise structure, personal structure, and organizational plan. So this organizational structure, so we always think about we always learn from the previous module that organizational structure is about how the case that we use is described using the terms that are happening in SAP. However, we know that usually organizational structure is meant as a structure of organization that usually organization adopt to explain what is actually the structure within its organization. Represent the structural and personal organization of a company. So consists of organizational unit. So it's usually like this. Illustrate the organizational structure and hierarchies and also the responsibility. As you can see here. So there are several things that we need to know about this in HCM. So the enterprise structure. So this represents formal and financial structure in company. So each employee need to be assigned to an enterprise structure. Basically consists of company code, personal area, and personal sub area. So we learn about what is company code, personal, and here we learn again about what is personal area, which is represent a company area differentiated between personal, administrative, time management, and also expensive organizational aspect. There is also sub area, which is part of a personal area. So it's like this. So if you know within a unit, organization have units within it, right? Units such as department, etc. And each department, they will have some kind of a role, a function that are different with each other. So this is basically like the personal area. As you can see here, global by group as a client, it has branches, which is company code, and there is a personal area. So this is like the branch itself, personal area, and that represent the structure in those branches. Okay, and then there are personal sub area, which is explain the function, functional departmentalization, let's say like that. So this is the function that are present in the structure of the organization. As you may know, like this, like executive, finance, HR, IT, MM, purchasing, production, we can divide this so that people will be assigned to each of these function or this personal sub area. So as you can see, different branches might have different structure. As this one is the complete one. So we may assure this is similar to like headquarters or maybe the main branch. While this one only consists of sales, purchasing, and MM, perhaps this one is related to only about sales. Oh, this one is only sales, etc., etc. So it might each branch might have different structure depending on the size. Is it large or small? Okay, personal structure. describe an employee position within the company. So this is something that we also need to know, that there are positions. So each person, each company that are part as an employee of the organization need to have a position, right? So it defined in there. So whether it's uh, defined in the employee group or employee subgroup. So it's usually in the employee group. So this is the general one. We will describe them as three: active employee, external, or retired. So this one, while the subgroup, it can be, it is within the employee group. Regression are specified. Okay, as you can see here, the more clear explanation. So for the employee group, usually we separate them like this. Active, this is the company, this is employee that are still active and productive. The external, this is usually for employee that are not actually hired by the company, but they work in the company. So they are from external, like student that doing internship, etc. Sorry, I mean, this is usually for such as consultant. Usually for some project, consultant are hired and then they are working at the company, but they are not hired by the company. Or perhaps such as cleaning service or security, that usually part actually a employee of other company but work in those companies. And there is a retiree, or those that are already finish their job and then they are retired. So they are still, perhaps the data is still kept at the company. So while the active itself can be divided: employee, the regular employee, the internal employee, and also the trainee. So the trainee is yeah, basically they are usually is in probation. So they are people who are accepted by the company but not yet receive a full contract or this kind of things. Okay, so there is also, we continue, there is also organizational plan. So organizational plan is described in which function an employee is acting. So I think this is self-explanatory, right? In which function an employee is acting. So employee work in their every employee has their own place and their own role, and it will be described in this organizational plan. There are organizational unit can be grouped according to functional and regulational aspect. Position are assigned to organizational unit and filled by employee. So every employee has position, okay, like a supervisor or staff, etc. Person are employee and fill and position. So this is basically the person. They each have their own ID. Cost center originate from controlling and can be linked with position. So basically, this is what each of them has will spend, what company will spend for each of them. So like how much is their salary, their benefit, etc. It will be provided in here. Job, general description of tasks which an employee should perform. General description of tasks which an employee should perform. So this is what they need to do, job description, etc. Okay, then it's built, the explanation is like this: organizational unit, position, person. So this person is a related to the people who will work, their name, they each have name, and then in the company, those person will have position. They will gather in a specific organizational unit. So this organizational unit is a cost center. So they will be allocated budget to make this unit runs. Its position has their own job. So this position come up with job on what they need to do. That is the idea. So if a person fill in, if a person get a position, then they need to do this job. That's the, and then this is the structure in SAP SGM. So as you can see, this is the global by company code, personal area. This is the branch. So I think the the policy for each of these employee group is the same for all over the company, for active, for retired, for external. So the active is intern, hourly wage, salary scale, executive, and then for retired, pensioner, honorary, and external is junior consultant or senior consultant. Okay. And then for the master data. So basically, because every person is unique, they need to have personal number. So this is the explanation of personal number. Personal number, it will relate to the expense result. So basically, expense mean what our company paid to them, like their salary, their benefit, etc. And it also has travel expense. So this is related to the job that they are doing. So if they need to do traveling because of their job, they already have their own budget. Is used in SAP as a central identifier for an employee, can comprise of up to 8 digits in SAP, can be assigned either by system or manually. So when we register employee, it can be registered by system or manually. All employee data available in the system is identified on the basis of personal number. So everyone has their own personal number. And there is also reference personal number. So what is the difference? So it's like this. So basically, because as we can see for the case of GBI, there are actually two main part of the company, of the group, which is in the European Union, in the Germany, and also in the US. So and each of them has so many branches between, and people can actually mutated. I mean, they can be move from one branch to other because several reasons, because of many reasons, like promotion, demotion, or perhaps just because there is a need of some temporary work in other branches, so they need to put people there, this, etc., etc. And because each of those things have their own structure, have their own organizational structure, usually they have their own system of managing this thing. So when people come up, they will need to integrate with that organizational structure, although they have ID from the previous one. So it's like in some expat. So here there are two types of ID. So this is the person ID. This is the ID that they get when they become the employee and in the big group of this thing. And then there is a person reference personal number. So this personal number is related to the current work. So they might, a person ID might have different, might have more than one. Every person will only have one person ID, but they may have several personal number. Okay, reference personal number, depending on the job that they do. So perhaps because someone are actually hired in the beginning in Singapore, and then after he worked in there several years, then there are open position in Indonesia, and then he is moved to Indonesia and work in Indonesia, he might have two different reference number, and he might return again to the Singapore. So as long as it's active, okay, that's what's the case. So this is how to structure the master data. It's structured in info type, as you can see here. So there are number, and this number info type will explain what is actually those activity that are related to the human personal management, like vacation, health resort, parental leave. They each of them has their own code. So this is related, so it might have differences. Info type are time dependent because, as you can see, related to health resort, vacation, parental leave, they all have time, right? So vacation, how long, rehab resort, parental leave, how long. They each have their own policy on how much time will be spent for that. Info type can be maintained in three different. So for info type, you can do fast entry, what personal action, or single info type maintenance. So you can check it like this. Now about the process. So there are several roles, right, in the human capital management, like HR administrator, personal development manager, head of department. Why? It is because actually we know that HCM is a broad subject. So within SGM, within this human capital management, there are several subjects that are also relevant, and like recruitment, time management, personal development, talent management, performance management, travel management, payroll, personal controlling. So this is actually what are activities that are happening within the human capital management. And each of these has different people who have different set of skills to do this job. Okay. And basically this sequence will in general give you the sequence of what is actually done in the human capital management. Okay, next, the process. Okay, so basically organizational management, the process is first there are process of organizational management, model the organizational structure. So this is basically only conducted once if there are no major change. This is where this is not yet related to the human capital, but more related on the organizational design. So basically we design the organization, we manage the organization by creating the structure of organization. So usually at the beginning, we create the structure. So we model the organizational structure for your enterprise, create, change, and delimit organizational unit, the job, position, you need to define, etc., etc. Then after we finish with the structure or the management of organization, then we can start doing the personnel administration, creating and maintaining personnel master data, traceability check, automatic history, etc. And then after that, personnel administration, then we can do recruitment. Okay, so let's continue to make it clear, to just show it. So it's like this. So we start with whether it's a regular case or not. Okay. Okay. So regular means a regular activity. This is something activity that are repeated or not. So if it's repeated, it goes here. If it's not, then it goes here. So basically, setup organization or organizational management is not something that are repeatedly, like every year or every month we conduct setup organization. It's not like that. Sometimes it depends on the situation. Sometimes it's only enough for one, but perhaps maybe after 5 year, and then or perhaps there is a really change management happening, then they need to set up organization. So basically we conduct manage organizational plan like the previous one, and we also set the personal administration in here. So after that, we are finished, and it will update the HCM database using this organization. Then after that, we will, okay, it is ready. Then we will continue again to the this one. Okay, if it's done, then it goes to the regular one. So basically in here, first we talk about recruitment. As you can see, each of those topic or subject within the HCM is actually a process itself. Basically, we can say that it's a process itself. So that's why we can use them as a sub processes. You remember sub process when we learn about the introduction regarding business process with BPMN. So as you can see here, recruitment is a big subject. It has a process. It is also will be in the same case with personal development or perhaps also talent management. So it will be a set of activities for each of them. So as you can see here for recruitment, we will learn again from this thing. Recruitment, choice, and selecting of application. External recruitment, internal recruitment, developing database for applicant, administration of vacant position. This is basically what we need to do. Applicant are assigned to the element, applicant group, or applicant range, yeah, we already discussed about this. Applicant data, we collect the applicant data. This is how to set the applicant data. And recruitment process will be about like this: vacancy, create vacancy, and then advertise job. Applicant data come in, and then we check the profile match, and then we hire as the employee. Selection recruitment, there is a selection procedure. So basically global selection procedure and selection procedure for each vacancy. So this is a global one. Basically this is might be what the general criteria for the company, while this one is more related to the job or the position that are open in department. Okay, and then HCM process. Oh, before that, so that's basically all about the recruitment before we go to the personal development. Okay, let's try to somehow make a good process out of it. So basically we create position, vacancy, and then we define the requirement for this position. So we decide whether it's external or not. What if it's not external? What do you mean by not external? It means from internal, it means from other branches. So they are already employee, but perhaps this is a higher position, so it is also open for internal employee. If there is no internal employee, then if we decide to, because we don't have any other available resource, then we can open to external, means that we accept from people outside of our company. So if it's not external, then it goes directly to the profile match, just check from the data that are present and then hire the employee. If there is from external, then we need to do post job advertisement, okay? And then we collect applicant and then global selection match profile, and then local selection, perhaps global selection with age, with their history, and then while the local selection is close to the function that they will the role that they will do, so it related to study major, etc. And then prepare applicant, basically like this. So collect applicant, it will improve in the HCM database. Okay, then after both the profile match already conducted, then there will be a result whether it is yes or no. Perhaps if it's no, then we can, if there is none at all, then we will collect again. But if there is yes and it is already fulfilled, then we just go to the hire employee and then do proof hiring. So this is basically like okay, we do the contract. So we do the contract, and then based on we sign contract with them, and then now they are officially, and we what do you call it? We print the proof regarding this as a what do you call the letter of decision letter, this kind of thing, so that it can become a proof later on that we are really become the employee of this, hired as an employee. Basically it's a contract like that. Okay, and then yes, we can do before personal development, we can do time management. So this is basically you can do contract time in here. So how long is contract? Is it permanent or perhaps only 3 years, 2 years? Usually in Indonesia, basically Indonesia at the end is we need to take them as a as a permanent employee. But in the other part of the world, perhaps they don't know about this kind of thing. They have different way of doing it. Basically, it's part of the contract, whether the contract is permanent or temporary. That's the idea. And then we go to personal development. What is personal development? So personal development is about how we can prepare the employee that already become our employee, and how to make them ready to do their job, right? So this is, or we can call it how to make the employee qualified to do their job. Comparison, requirement of position, qualification of employee. So this is there are several ways of doing this using talent management, training and event management, and performance management. Qualification, so there are this what we call qualification. So each job have their own qualification, means that only people who has this qualification can do this job. So qualification means like that. So it related to the person. So some person have qualification, and then it's also based on this qualification that are present in the person, the company can then look people that can fill in the position that are open. So this is qualification catalog. Qualification are defined in the qualification catalog, like catalog, IT knowledge, health and security, operating system, database, they know Windows, Linux, system modeling, first aid, etc. So this is requirement can be attached to position. So if the qualification is attached to the person, as you can see here, the person can have certification of first aid, security guard, license, etc. While the requirement, this is similar, but it is attached to the position. Perhaps in what more familiar to you is regarding this is actually the job description. This is similar to job specification. While this one is the employee qualification. Okay. And then in the personal development, we match those profile within the requirement and also the qualification. So if they are matched, so it can have this different result, right? Whether it's under qualification, over qualification, or match. So basically, the red one is the person or the qualification, the green one is the position or the requirement. So basically, if we want it to be matched, right? I mean, the position match with the qualification. However, sometimes it happen like this. Requirements are higher than the qualification, or requirements are lower than the qualification. Then we call it like this. So what happens if the requirements are lower than the qualification, over qualification? It means that the person itself, their potential is not really applied. So they have big potential, but the job is too easy for them. So basically, we pay someone who are qualified with the lower, and we don't maximize their potential. Then that's a loss for the company. However, for the underqualification, then we are worried that later on he will not able to perform as we want, like the one that we want him to perform. Basically, we pay them higher than what he is capable to do, right? Then that's also not good. So what happened usually if they are overqualification, unless we have too many talent, and then we don't have enough position, then what can we do? But usually it's not a good idea. So we should have a more higher position, so that each person can match their qualification. What happens if there is underqualification? It means that we have less talent than required. Okay, what we need to do is that we can arrange we can improve their qualification. That's the idea. And we talk about talent management. This is arrange career planning, succession planning. Basically, every person, they need to be able to move into hierarchy. In the hierarchy, they need to be motivated enough, so they need to be able to move to higher position and position. So for what? For they are, so that one of them is so that they are motivated enough to work in the company. Because people who are just top in one particular position, basically he will waste his potential. And talent management is the one that manage all of those things. So basically what we did in talent management is career planning, identify career goal, what they want, etc. The possible ladder that he can climb in the particular function or particular position. Like this, so we can manage the career planning. So as you can see here, the example, he start as the security guard, he can later on he can improve and climb the ladder into a security manager and then chief security manager. This is the path that can be done with this kind of career planning. We can make this one. Succession planning. So this is basically if this is to assure continuity in personnel allocation for key position. We need to have a data about the people who will, if something happened to the person who hold the position, we must make sure that we can fill in again this position. Development plan. Basically, this is summarizing teaching and further education action to achieve special qualification. So this is also the part of what I told you before, that if there is under qualification, then we can do training or send him to a course or something so that he can achieve special qualification. That's the idea. So development plan. Let's see. So for personal management, basically what we need to do is first, we list the qualification and then we list the requirement and then match qualification profile. Is it matched? If it's yes, then it's finished. If not, then we need to look again. And then after that, we come up with the result, right? Whether it is matching or under qualification or over qualification. If it's under, then we need to do talent management. So we plan the career plan, plan succession, plan general individual development training. And then if we want to do training, yes, we can create event for training or we can book event. We can book event. Perhaps we don't create the event, but we send them to some open training that are held by other organizations and then follow up event. This is example of talent management. And then personal performance management. So after people are ready to work, then they will start doing work. And after they are doing work, people will be given a target or what they need to do. And then they will be monitored and will be judged whether they work properly, they work good, or they are or not. So this is performance management. So performance management monitor and judge whether the person work properly or not. So here define objective setting between enterprise and employee. So we some kind of company and employee talk and have understanding within each other on what to do and what is the aim and what need to be reached and this kind of thing. What is the goal and what is the benefit that if they achieve those goals. So this is after they are agree with that, then they are start working and then there will be appraisal, right? So this is the planning, agree on goals, and then we perform appraisal, we receive feedback whether he worked properly or not, and then if he worked properly or over or perhaps overachievement, there will be compensation adjustment. If it's not, then there is also compensation adjustment. So basically what benefit that can get will be adjusted in here. As you can see, performance management, the status can be like this: in preparation, completed, in process, approved, rejection. This is the process of appraisal. Appraisal template, they provide the template of appraisal. And then, yeah, let's check. So it's like this: performance management, goal planning, agreement, prepare appraisal, perform appraisal, whether approved or not. If not approved, we conduct it again. If yes, then adjust compensation. While we do performance management, actually each employee or even the superior can check by himself what is the progress of myself, like that. It is provided the personal controlling. So basically, so that they can manage by himself what they have done, and then see what is lacking in so that they need to do in the future. Okay. So what is personal controlling? Basically, it gives you a report and analysis of the result of your work, evaluation of personal data, standard report, a human resource information system, manager desktop, ad hoc query, business intelligence. So it's like this. So basically, every employee can check whether what is their current condition. So this is to check their data like this. It can be for each personnel or even for their manager. So they can check this kind of thing. Okay. So basically, they call it employee self-service. This is for employee, and manager self-service. This is for their superior. Okay, that's all. Let's check. So it's like this: personal controlling, update and change. If there are update, like if the company decide to support the family member of the employee, like the son, the children, and also the spouse, then if have a new children, then they can update their data and this kind of thing, and then they can also make report out of their condition and do analysis by himself. If he want to analysis his condition, he can go to the employee self-service for personal one, or if the manager want to check the condition of the people that are below him, his subordinate, then he can go to management support system. That's it. Okay, then I think that's all about the human capital management module. I hope this explained clearly about the process, although this is not the actual process within SAP because it will be more complex, but I hope this will give you a general idea on what happening within the human capital module. That's all I think. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.